So this comment talking about the history of Afghanistan and how it really was sort of a lost cause for us to be there in the first place. I've written a bit about this in a chapter called Of the Graveyard of Empires in my video book, Un-American. I'm going to read you a little bit of it. I'm Daniella, scholar of cults, extreme groups, and extremely bad leadership. I wrote a book that is out called Uncultured about growing up in the Children of God religious cult, going into the cult of the U.S. Army. You can get signed copies here. At the end of Uncultured, we find out some very unsurprising information about my ex-husband that makes me have to go on this whole new journey and write a whole second memoir that I wrote called Un-American. I haven't published it as a book yet. I will publish it after The Culting of America. But I have read out the mostly done manuscript, and that is available on my Patreon through the link in my bio. But check this out. So I am, at this point, a captain in the Army. I'm the senior intelligence officer, and we are about to deploy to Afghanistan, which will be my second time. My team is ready for our major Afghanistan country brief to the battalion, nearly 100 people, with me as one of the Army's newest captains. Not for the first time, it strikes me how acutely aware we always are of each other's rank in the Army. A strong group norm that we all wear smack in the middle of our chests. It's so much easier to decipher than the rank and power system in America, or the one I grew up with inside the family. I wonder if there's any group on Earth that does not have some sort of hierarchy, some systemic way for the few to hold power over the many. As usual, I'm standing in front of a room that is about 95% men for the intelligence pre-deployment brief. It's my team's moment to shine, to spend 2 hours talking to the entire unit, going province by province, hotspot by hotspot, across eastern Afghanistan, an operational area with over 30,000 personnel and an area of 1,245 square kilometers. I know every detail of this terrain almost as well as I knew southern Afghanistan less than 2 years before, and much better than I know any part of the United States. Afghanistan, my voice booms out through the loudspeaker, which has often been called the graveyard of empires. Today, we will fly you through the provinces of... I flip to the agenda slide and we are off. And we kick butt. It doesn't say that though. It says the other word. Afterwards, when one of the majors approaches me, I assume it will be with congratulations. Instead, I'm met with a look of consternation by my former boss, an evangelical Christian who I'd clashed regularly with in the past about the constant prayers, chaplain's visits, and Christian ideology embedded in our Army language. Daniella, he says, pulling me aside, graveyard of empires, really? You just can't go saying that to a group of soldiers. What were you thinking? But I am confident about my position. I explained to him that the whole point of the country brief is to give historical and physical context to the places where we are going. Intelligence can't afford to ignore things because they are inconvenient. Underestimating the insurgents, thinking of them as stupid and backwards, thinking that we are automatically the best just because we are Americans, that's what unalives soldiers over there. And we know a focus on your own uniqueness is one of the big red flags of groups and leaders. Besides, sir, I finish, America is not an empire. Or are we admitting that we are? Daniella, he says, I'm just saying because I care about you and your career that you can't go around saying that. It's not a good look for you. Makes you look critical when you're supposed to be supportive as one of our unit's leaders. And just what do you think that does to morale? With all due respect, sir, I say, I'm the intelligence officer, not the chaplain. We do things that go boom and bump in the night, not the morale. I move on, my head spinning, knowing my job is to be the bad guy, not to just go along with whatever messaging the good guys want to believe. My job is intense, demanding, with little room for failure at go time. The training period is intended to toughen me up, enough that I have no problem looking the operations officer in the eye, or the senior commander for that matter, and being willing to say, if you do that, sir, here's all the way the good guys might unalive. That's why, at the end of the day, the intelligence officer has no command authority in the military structure, because we aren't supposed to be influenced by the politicking and the programming. We're supposed to spot the holes, figure out the structures of power that make them tick, understand not just that the terrorists are radicalized, but why, and thus be able to notice the indicators before they can shoot one of our helicopters out of the sky. We aren't supposed to drink the Kool-Aid, which is the name of my basic training chapter in Uncultured. Hope you found this interesting. Stay tuned for the publishing of Un-American or check out my video book.